when you look at the scriptures, you'll find that the heroes of faith were those who emotions, they ran the gauntlets of the deeds, the kinds of things we'll talk about from time to time. They experienced this time of being down in the dumps and down in the muck and dismal and disheartened and despondent and downcast, dismayed, dejected, and disillusioned. All those things will happen even in the Bible times. So you just got to know that you will be frustrated as well. So don't get bent out of shape and disillusioned behind the fact that you've been frustrated. But the key thing is how you overcome, how you deal with them. So in short, they were bummed out over all sorts of stuff that were happening in their lives. And this caused some to question whether or not God really existed or whether he really cared about them. Does he care? Is he concerned about my frustrations and how I'm feeling right now at this moment? When people get all upset and bent out of sort, you got to understand that you're not the only one that can get frustrated. You're not the only one that can get bent out of sort. You're not the only one that have things that will happen to you. Even Jesus, while he was hung on the cross, he said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? So it's going to happen to you. So that was an example that God lets us know that you're going to have frustrations, but you got to know how to deal with them quick, fast, and in a hurry when you find yourself thinking in those terms, especially when you start expressing them. You've got to get yourself in a place where God can deal with you. In Ezra chapter 4, verses 4 and 5, the Bible says, then the people of the land weakened the hand of the people of Judah and troubled them in building and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, the king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia. So when we realize that those things were happening back in the Bible days, we need to understand that they can happen today. Not only can happen, but will happen. But the key to understanding that whether or not you're going to make it is the fact that you overcome them. So you got to overcome them. Look at your neighbor and say, you got to overcome your frustrations. And that is key to us. And you got to overcome them in a way that's not going to be offensive to your brother or your sister. So the Old Testament Webster Dictionary, in the Old Webster Dictionary, defines the word this way. It's literally to break or interrupt, hence to defeat, to disappoint, to balk or to bring to nothing, as to frustrate a plan or a design or attempt to frustrate the will or the purpose. What the enemy wants to do is frustrate you in every way that he possibly can to cause some discouragement, to come about your territory and your thinking and your actions. And if you're not careful, then he will cause you to be messed up from the neck up. As followers of Christ, we have enemies who are doing their utmost to accomplish exactly what the Bible tells us were happening in the land or in the time of Zerubbabel as he was leading God's people in building the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem. We are told in the book of Ezra that they weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building. Don't think the enemy won't try to block you or stop you or frustrate you, delay you, try to stop on something that you know you can do, that you've accomplished certain things before, but now the enemy gets in your way and frustrates you. And if you're not careful, you'll start taking it out on everybody that gets in your way. Anybody who speaks to you, anybody that looks at you, you think that they're looking at you too hard, and so what you looking at, So we've got to understand that frustrations will come at us, but we've got to know how to deal with them. And if it were not enough, they hired counselors against them. They hired people that would get on their case, that would study how to get under their nerve. Well, they're doing this right now, but I tell you what, if we do that over there, when they get there, they're going to find it ain't going to be what they think. Or they're going to do something over here that will cause some pain when they get over yonder. So it will cause you to start working on something, and while there's somebody scheming against you, desiring to stop you, to block you, or to cause you some pain. They want to try to show you up, make you look bad, and make you look like you don't know what you're doing, make you feel like you're dumb, stupid, and crazy. But you've got to understand that when you have God on your side, you've got to understand that he is the one who gives us the power and the authority. So you got to know that these folk in the Bible days, they were determined to frustrate their purpose. Do you see any of that kind of thing happening today? Of course. We see that's what's happening. And the people of Judah, concerning Zerubbabel and Joshua and the rest of the chiefs of the fathers of Israel, they knew what it was to feel defeat. They knew what it was to feel defeat. You're not the only one that's going to feel defeat. If you accomplish anything, you're going to be feeling defeat. The building of the house of God was interrupted by recurring setbacks. It dragged on for 15 years and finally ground down to a halt. Wasn't going anywhere. There wasn't doing anything. But let me briefly mention some inappropriate ways that we can sometimes use to handle frustration. And that's what the enemy wants you to do, because if he can get you to do things in an inappropriate manner, then he can get you to know that you're wrong. You follow me? And that's what causes people to kind of step back. Well, let me just hold back for a while. Let me slow down for a while, because people getting on my last nerve. Let me tell you something. People are going to get on your nerve. People are going to get on your nerve, but you got to get on the Lord's nerve. You got to show him what it is that he's looking for. Are you listening? You got to get to the place where you're going to press your way each and every day. So some people, when somebody gets them frustrated, messed up, they become aggressive, attacking someone. They attack them either verbally or physically, or both, by using gossiping and making digs at them. They're making slights at them, off-color remarks. Some people, rather than saying something nice, they say something rude, they say something sarcastic. They'll say something that they know is going to get on your nerve, and they'll do it anyway. Some of the most destructive behaviors and destructive personal acts we take they're born out of frustration. When we get something that's happening to us and that's hitting us in such a manner that we wish it would not happen, they're born out of frustration. If you weren't frustrated at the time, it probably wouldn't bother you. Wouldn't bother you at all, but because you are frustrated. What you've got to understand is this is just a test. It is just a test. And you have to pass the test. If you don't pass the test, you're not going to be promoted. You're not going. Let me tell you something. You got to pass these tests if you plan on going to heaven. Are you listening? So you got to get to the place where you pass the test. Don't get so frustrated you give up, throw in the towel, you quit. It's not an option. Look at your neighbor and say, quitting is not an option. So we got to do that. So another tactic that people use is regressing or reverting to earlier forms of behavior, like temper tantrums and pouting. This person always got his or her way when he or she throws a fit as a child. You see little kids throwing a tantrum in the grocery store, in the restaurants, just hollering and kicking and all kinds. What they need is a little keen switch. God knows how to give us a keen switch that'll get us in line. When you start realizing, see what's happening because of the way you're acting, you're getting this. This is a direct result of the way you were acting. Are you listening? God's getting us in line to help us to do things that God would have us to do. But the enemy wants to keep on having you fixed on the wrong kinds of things and having a form of fixation, or in other words, repeating the same non-constructive behavior over and over again. An example is trying to put like a large bolt or screw into a small hole. Are you listening? You got to realize that this is frustrating. You're doing the wrong thing and you're doing it the wrong way, and you keep on doing it the wrong way. It doesn't work, you know, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You know, they call that insanity, right? And so we all know that, but yet still people get up and do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. But we got to stop that. We got to get to the place where our relationship with the Lord is where he would have it to be. Giving up, becoming apathetic, or not caring anymore. And that's exactly the frame of mind that the enemy of our soul wants us to adapt. You know, I just don't care. I'm done. I'm done. Listen, you can stick a fork in me. I'm done. I'm through with them. I'm through with it. How many times I'm through. I'm gone. I'm out of here. That's what the enemy wants you to do. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to frustrate you so much that you just won't care. It's not our people, my brothers and my sisters. It's them people now. You know, them people in the church. They ain't right, you know. And you go on about your business because in our mind, we think that we're doing the right thing. We're the right one because they're frustrating us. They got us mixed. I know I've been doing this for years and years and years. I know what I'm talking about. But the devil knows how to get to you. Are you listening? He knows how to frustrate you and get you bent out of sort in such a manner that you will insult anybody. You know, you will talk junk to anybody and just don't care. Are you listening? So we cannot allow that to happen to us. And once you start adopting that kind of mindset, next thing you got is negativism. You know, an example, thinking negatively when you have biblical grounds for a positive, faith-filled expectation. Did you know that if your mental thought process is one of constant defeat, you will actually be defeated? Did you know that? Yeah. It's kind of like you're driving down the road and you're looking off, staring at something else. You know, you have a tendency to gravitate toward in the direction you're looking at. Are you listening? So you got to watch what you're looking. You got to watch where you're going. Don't you allow the enemy to get you off focus and showing you all kind of negative stuff. When you start looking at negative stuff, before you know anything, everything you look at, you can see something wrong with it. You ever see people like that? Of course. But you got to understand, you got to go into a situation and see something positive. Or at least they're trying. At least they're building up. It won't take much to fix that up. I think I can help. You know, I think I can do something to help them with this situation. See, if all you see is a dead end with no turnaround, then that's will be no way out for you, because all you see is a dead end, and that's what you're going to get in your life. A whole lot of dead ends, and nothing's going to happen. I tried this and I tried that, and I'm just done. I'm through with it. I'm not going to try anything else. I'll just go home and rest. I'm done with those people over there. The enemy, if he can get you to act like you crazy, act like you just don't care, let me tell you something, then folks will start looking at you like that. You know, and before you know anything, they'll start being standoffish toward you. Why? Because they don't want that contamination that you got. They don't want that spirit that you got. And you think it's them, but in actuality, it's you. It's you. Go and look in the mirror, you'll see. All you got to do is look in the mirror and you see, if you be honest, you. If you start telling yourself you're doing everything right, then everybody else got to be wrong. Are you following me? What is it that you can do? How can you change the situation? How can you turn things around? What is it that you can do? And there's also repression. In other words, blocking out the conscious thought of a problem in the hopes of the problem to go away. No. It's still going to be there. Yeah. You went to bed with the problem's still there when you wake up. Are you listening? saying, I believe God will take care of the problem. Well, that may be partially true, but most problems require something on our own part for us to do. When God sends you to do something, that means just that. You got to put your legs up, you got to get up, you got to put one step in front of the other, and you can make things to happen. And another thing is withdrawal. People, when they withdraw, they are distancing themselves from a situation, either physically or psychologically, becoming a loner. Or somebody said that there are 10 ways to get over the blues. The first is to help somebody else get over. And the next is to repeat the same thing 9 times. Are you listening? Help other people. 10 ways to get over. It'll be different every time, but you got to understand, you got to keep on doing the right thing if you want to come out of the dumps. You help somebody. You start helping somebody. Stop focusing on you. It's not all about you. What you're going through is just a test. God is seeing whether or not you can hang in there without fussing and complaining about this, that, and the other. What is it that you can see good? What is it around here that you can see that's worthwhile? What is it around here that calls you to bring somebody with you every time you come? Hello? What can you do to make it better? That's the mindset that we got to have when we're going forward with the things of God, and God will bless us. So God wants us to continue to go forward and do the things He's telling us to do. It was not until the Lord sent a couple of preachers, Haggai and Zechariah, that the people were engaged or encouraged to get up and to get going again. So God will send somebody with a word or somebody with a positive mindset that will encourage you to go forward and can say, hey, you're doing the right thing, but you just need to improve it a little bit. Help it out a little bit. See what you can do to make it better. Look at it and check it out. Don't just think it's all perfect. You got to do your part and seek to do it better. Always strive in doing what God has called you to do. If you do what God has called you to do, then you won't be looking at what somebody else is doing and they getting all the praise for this. Well, they could be doing what God called them to do. Hello? Everybody's got a passion that they can work at. If you can learn how to turn your passion that you can work at for the Lord, working for the house of the Lord, you'll get better at doing what you have a passion for than you will by doing something that somebody else has a passion for. They can do it easily. It's a struggle for you. And theirs is going to come out good. Yours is going to come out bad. Are you listening? So when you understand that if you work your passion, you're no longer working, you're just having fun. You're enjoying yourself. You're pleased with what you're doing. And you know what? When you work your passion, the more you work it, hey, the better you're working, the more you see opportunities to